on to the American Transportation Research Institute's top 10 issues facing the trucking industry in 2023. This is a pretty cool thing. ATRI's 2023 Top Industry Issues Report, number 10 on the top issues facing the trucking industry right now, zero-emission vehicles. There's a lot of legislation going on. A lot of people are trying to put the cart before the horse on this one and let the tail wag the dog and all of those other little fantastic idioms and phrases that we can use to describe trying to push out legislation because it looks good so that you can get elected during the next cycle as a politician, but not really thinking about the infrastructure that's needed to support such legislation. So that's all I'll say about that one. Number 9, detention and delay at customer facilities. This one was interesting to see on here because obviously it's something that I hear a lot of drivers get kind of frustrated with. It's like, the market is a little bit slow out there. Freight's not necessarily at the top level, so you're running it cheap, and now you're having to sit there and twiddle your thumbs for God knows how long at a receiver waiting for another load. Driver retention is coming in at number 8. Obviously, people are looking for the best possible way to make a buck right now, and some of these companies that are offering a little bit more pay and sacrificing maybe the treatment of their drivers or maybe the equipment that they're running, they're going to see some pretty good drivers leave some pretty good companies because money is the reason that we're all here at the end of the day. Like, we want to get the freight from point A to point B. We want to get home safe and all that. But we also got to put food on the plate and electricity in the sockets. Coming in at number 7 is driver distraction. Now, this first appeared on the top 10 list in 2014, ranking 10th overall. It rose to a peak of 7th overall in 2018 and then did not make the top 10 list again until this year. This is important. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that 3,522 people were killed in traffic crashes in 2021 that were found to be distraction-affected crashes, and 410 of those individuals died in crashes involving at least one driver who was engaged in cell phone use activities. Not anything else for me to say about that. You guys know what that's all about. Number 6 is lawsuit abuse reform. Look, we all heard about that big thing that happened down in New Orleans where they were crashing trucks last year and they were suing the companies and millions of dollars were getting put in the wrong pockets. I think it's understandable why that shows up on the list at number 6. Number 5, driver compensation. Yeah, the market's down. People aren't getting paid what they should be right now. Maybe they're not making as much as they think they should be. Freight's just not paying out. Obviously, shippers are having to really cut their rates down. Everybody is. This is a bummer, all right? I'm not going to spend too much time hanging on it because everybody knows that everybody out there, all the drivers, would like to make some more money. Number 4 is driver shortage. Well, if we're short drivers, and why can't we retain drivers, and why aren't we paying drivers more? These 3 issues kind of run all in the same neck of the woods, I'll put it. I don't know that I'm educated enough on what's going on in the freight market to actually speak to this, so I'm not going to go on too long. I think we all know everybody would like to make more money for doing what they do, especially if they do a very good job and have a spotless record doing so. Between driver retention, driver pay, and driver shortage, I think it's no surprise that all 3 of these show up in our top 10 lists of issues facing the trucking industry. Coming in at number 3 are fuel prices. We've talked about it on this podcast a few times, man. Diesel's over $6 a gallon in California, and I had a driver last week tell me that it was up to $7 a gallon in certain places in California. This was last year's number 1 concern on the top 10 list, so seeing it come in at number 3 means we ain't made very much progress on it, and I would love to see how we're going to make progress moving into the future because this whole prices only go up thing just doesn't work when we're talking about diesel prices and moving all this freight that all of you drivers have to move. Truck parking is coming in at number 2. I talked a little bit with Scott Beals about this last week during our driver profile. I asked him, hey, why can't we just lay some concrete down on the side of the freeway and have spots to park trucks? He brought up some really good issues with that. Safety is a big one. Is it well lit? Is there security? Can females, for instance, feel safe? Are there facilities there, bathrooms, that type of thing? And then not only that, but you got to worry about you can't just slap down some blacktop on top of grass and think it's going to hold multiple trucks weighing 80,000 pounds. It's not going to happen. So there's a lot that goes into it. And coming in at number one, I don't have a drum roll button. I wish I did, but it's the economy. We all kind of saw that one coming. Concern over the state of the nation's economy rose 4 spots this year to be the top-ranked industry issue. From inflation, rising interest rates, and diesel prices to reduced freight demand and declining rates, the economy impacts motor carriers and drivers alike, showing up as a top 10 concern for both. The outlook for the remainder of the year remains uncertain, given challenges like the impact on consumer spending from resumption of student loan payments and the temporary stopgap funding of the federal government, which is set to expire in November. But you got to wait for daddy government to put on its boots and get to work here. So let's cross our fingers and hope that happens faster than the glacial pace that it is typically formulated at. That's it for your top 10 issues facing the trucking industry.